Evening, good evening. How are you? I'm going to tell you about my experience today. If you follow me on Instagram, you might already know this. I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself. And if you don't follow me on Instagram, sort it out. You can find me at 7 Figure Success Coach. I'll follow you back. So I did a little Instagram story earlier about my shenanigans with my new fitness and weight focus, my new commitment to myself that I've been making. Guys, as you're logging in, give me a hashtag live if you're live, hashtag replay if you're on replay, and just let me know where you are in the world as well. So I've been eating a lot recently, guys, like too much, way too much. Me and James, we love to eat. We are such foodies. Like, my life revolves around food. I'm constantly, I'm looking forward to what I'm going to eat next. And if we've, got the evening off together, we go for dinner and we get excited about what restaurant we're going to eat in. And we get excited when we look at the menu, and I'm salivating just thinking about that. We love our food, like we really love it. Any other foodies out there? Give me some hearts if you're a fellow foodie. Because I know some people just eat to survive, don't they? But I literally, no, I eat because it's just one of my favourite things to do. And recently I've been eating too much. So I've been eating too much of the wrong thing. I've been enjoying myself a lot. I've been going out and I've been noticing that I feel really uncomfortable in my clothes. I'm just telling you this to pass the time while everybody gets logged in. So I've been feeling uncomfortable in my clothes, and I thought, do you know what, I need to do something about this because it's going to start making me feel shit, because I know it always does. Like, if I start looking in the mirror and thinking, ooh, I don't like that, then, Sasha, high five to the foodies in the house tonight, then it starts to affect me and my mindset too. It affects everything, doesn't it, when we don't feel good about what we see in the mirror. So I'm like, right, sorting this shit out, and we need to do it, commit to it, and literally start tomorrow, because I'd had this 3-course meal last night and I just felt afterwards. So we went straight from the restaurant to like a tech shop and bought a Fitbit each. I'm like, right, this is it now. Me and you, Fitbit, I'm gonna get lean. I'm gonna be a lean machine. So then I think, I've got this. I'm gonna do 5K every morning. I haven't even got any trainers, so I'm going to go and buy some trainers. So when I bought some trainers, I'm going to buy some, new on fleek gym wear, and I'm going to do 5K every morning, 7 a.m. out. That's how I'm going to start my day. James and I committed, got up this morning, got my new gym wear on, put my Fitbit on. I'm like, woohoo, 10,000 steps a day. Yes, Edmond, I've just hit 10,000. You get fireworks when you hit 10,000. I was like, yes. So I got up this morning, went for my run, and all these intentions of doing 5K. And you can hit this little button on the side of it, and it tells you, like, when you've hit your goal. I got 1.9k in, and my foot started to really hurt. So I stopped to look down, and there was all blood coming out of my foot. Basically, it's a blister, but it was like a war wound to me. I'm like, oh, man down! So I start shouting, man down! James is like already way in front of me. He turns around, he's like, what's wrong? I'm like, man down. So I'm limping 1.9k into my 5k. I limp all the way home and have my breakfast, because I'm just like, no, I'm not gonna tear my feet up in the name of fitness. It just doesn't feel like a good idea. I'll do better tomorrow, folks. Promise I'll do better tomorrow. I've got some plasters and I'm going back out first thing in the morning. And I did go for a walk after my dinner just, so it's not all bad. So guys, let's get serious. Let's get to business, because I'm going to turn you into a productivity ninja tonight. I'm going to help you to bin all those excuses about time. You don't have enough of it, or there's not enough hours in the day, or you find yourself seemingly busier than everybody else and wondering how they get way more done than you. You get to the end of the day and you're like, how is my to-do list bigger than when I started the day? How did that happen? And feel really, really deflated. I'm going to turn you into a productivity ninja. We're going to deal with 2 aspects. We're going to deal with planning, and then we're going to deal with productivity in that order. Because if we plan well and then we're productive in the time that we've got, we can kill it. Even if you've only got a really, really small amount of time. This subject's really, really important to me, because I know how it feels to deeply, insanely, intensely struggle with this subject. And not because I would say I've been unorganised or I don't plan. It was drilled into me in the corporate world, the importance of planning an organisation. They used to say all these really shit phrases like piss poor planning promotes poor performance, something like that. So it was really, really drilled into me. And I've always done it, but I didn't get it right for a long time as an entrepreneur. And it really came to a head, I'd say it was about 5 or 6 years ago now. And I woke up one morning, this was the day that everything changed in terms of planning for me, and I'm going to tell you what changed so that you can change it too. So I woke up, and as soon as I opened my eyes, my mind started going a million miles an hour with what I'd got to do that day. My to-do list was so big that I felt like going back to sleep at just the thought of what I'd got to do that day. That was how I woke up, and this was New Year's Eve a few years ago. It was New Year's Eve, and I thought, okay, right, just come on, get up, let's go. So I got up, opened my wardrobe to think, what am I going to wear today? And there was no clothes ironed that I could physically wear that matched. There was clothes in there, but nothing that I could wear that day that actually was going to look half decent, because I hadn't done the ironing in weeks. So the ironing was in the spare room, piled up, and there was nothing in my wardrobe. So I've now got to iron my outfit before I can put it on. So I was like, okay, into the spare room, sorting through these piles of clothes, thinking what am I going to wear, and that's frustrating me. So I leave that for a minute, found what I'm going to wear, I'll iron it in a minute, I'll go and have breakfast, go downstairs, let the dogs out into the garden, look at them and think, you need a walk, I need to get you for a walk. So I'm looking at my watch thinking, okay, walk, and then this, then this, then this. My mind's going crazy. Then I look in the kitchen and the dishwasher needs filling and emptying. It hasn't been done since dinner the night before, so all the dishes are on the side. So then I'm like, okay, so now I've got to fill the dishwasher and empty the dishwasher. Open the fridge to get the milk out to have my morning brew. I've got no freaking milk, so I'm like, I can't even have a brew. And I can feel the tension rising. I can feel myself getting like a firework ready to go off at any moment. And then my phone rang, and it was my mum, and I remember it really clearly, and she said, don't forget to call, something like, don't forget to call me later before midnight. Started telling me what she was doing that day and how excited she was for New Year's Eve, and I just wanted to talk to her, but my mind was just so full of other stuff. It was like, felt like it was wasting my time, and I was really snappy and short with my mum. And as soon as I put the phone down, I fell out with myself over that. I sat on the kitchen floor and I cried. And I cried and I cried and I cried, like really dramatic sobs, because I just reached breaking point. I wasn't achieving in any area of my life. I felt like I was failing at everything. I was failing at being a great wife because, you know, I wasn't making time to be present for my husband. And you know what it's like, ladies. I'm going to get personal with you now because we're all in a group. But who wants to even get sexual and intimate when you're that busy? That goes out of the window, doesn't it? Because you just start, and then you're like, oh shit, got to be sexy now. That doesn't even happen. Give me some hearts if you can relate, and it's not just me. This is where I was at like 5-6 years ago. I'm being really honest with you, because this is what piss poor planning actually does to you. It's not just about performing in business. It's the way it affects your entire life. I would feel like I was failing as a daughter, because my daughter, I don't have a daughter, my mum would, I know, want to see me more and want me to be more present when I did see her, not on my phone, you know, everything. And on top of that, my business wasn't even amazing. It was all right, it was, you know, paying, but it wasn't incredible. It wasn't where I wanted it to be. I certainly wasn't living the dream that I wanted to be living. So how can you be really busy and achieving nothing? And that's exactly what was happening for me. And that night, I did something that absolutely transformed my planning and productivity forever. I'm not saying it was fixed in one night, because it was a work in progress, but it was that night where I began a process that changed everything for me. And I'm going to share that process with you tonight. So what I did was I shut myself in my office on New Year's Eve. I was meant to be going to my next door neighbours for dinner. We did go, but we went a lot later than originally planned. We were going to go around for like pre-drinks and stuff, and we didn't. We just literally ate dinner and then we came away. We didn't even see the new year in that year, because this was so important to me to get right, because I just thought I cannot go into another freaking year doing this and feeling like this. It has to be today, it has to be now. And that's my first tip for you. It has to be today. It has to be now for you. Not one more day that goes by can be an unproductive one for you. If this is something that you're struggling with, commit to doing this and making time to do this ASAP. If you can do it tonight, do it tonight. If you can get up first thing in the morning, do it first thing in the morning, do it. Because this is going to make your life so much easier, and it's something that is absolutely worth making the time to do so you have more time to be productive in the future. So, I shut myself in my office that night and this is what I did. Step one, you might want to write this down. Step one, I wrote down everything that was pissing me off. Everything. Write your pissed off list. Everything that was getting to me, everything that was making me feel unorganised and like a failure, everything. So I wrote down things like forgetting to call my nan, like that, it hit me really hard every time I did that. Like I'd get to the end of the day and think, shit, I didn't call my nan again today, and it would be like, the guilt would be overwhelming. Or having no sex drive, write that down. Or not having food in the house that's healthy because I forgot to do a food shop, or I haven't done it regular enough, which means I then reach for a takeaway, so I'm putting weight on. So I wrote all of these things down. And then like the business stuff as well, everything that is pissing you off and making you feel unorganised and out of control, get it on paper. And that can take some time. I mean, I've got a lot of stuff that was making me feel like that, but that's the starting point, because what we first need to do is really look at the problem and the problems that are created by a lack of organisation and planning. That's step one. Give yourself some distance from them by getting them on paper, and that just helps you to see them clearly. Then we can look at what are the solutions to these problems. Let's say, and it's important you do it like this, let's say I have all the time in the world. I'm not busy, that's not my mantra. I have all the time in the world to find solutions for these problems. So let's say I have all the time in the world, what would be my solution to each one of these problems? So for example, calling my nan. Well, okay, solution to that is make sure that I call her in the morning, because if it goes past the afternoon and she's gone out to her groups and stuff like that, then I get busy in the evening and then she goes to bed and we miss each other. So maybe I just need to write in my diary for 9:30 a.m. to call my nan twice a week or once a week or however often I'd really like to speak to her. Okay, call my nan, that goes on the list. Number two, how am I going to stop myself from feeling like a whale because of the amount that I've been eating and let myself go? Let's write that down. We're getting everything on paper that's super duper important to you, not just in business, and we're finding solutions for it. So, for example, do a regular food shop. Make time for exercise, but be specific. What does that exercise even look like? Are you going to go for a swim? Are you going to go for a run? Are you going to join a gym? Like, get it all in the diary. This is like a proper life action plan. It's your master plan for life, because you're developing a masterpiece. Your life is a masterpiece. You want every area to be brilliant and awesome and fulfilling, but it won't be if we don't plan each area meticulously. So everything that's pissed us off and feels out of control that's important to us, we write down solutions for it. That's step two. We're going to park that for a moment. Let's leave that to one side for a moment. So when you've got that, you should have two pieces of paper, maybe two notebooks, one with everything that pisses you off and one with everything with your solutions in, and then just move it to one side. Having done that exercise, what's going to have become apparent to you is the areas of your life that need to thrive for you to feel successful, period. Not just successful in your bank account, but successful, period. It's going to highlight those areas to you. From doing that piece of work, what I saw was, okay, what's really important is my health and fitness, like my image is really important. Because one of the things that really pissed me off that New Year's Eve was when I looked down, and I've actually got bad nails now, but there's a reason for it this time. There is a reason. I've had to let them grow off because I've got to have them done ready for a photo shoot just before on Saturday. So that's why they're shit now, so if you notice them. But I'd looked down on New Year's Eve and I haven't gone and had my nails done. My nails looked shocking. My roots were terrible. I just felt shit when I looked in the mirror as well. So I noticed all these things that were just pissing me off were things that were important to me, and they could be put into categories: image, weight, fitness, relationship, family, house, cleanliness and tidiness of my environment was clearly a big thing. Business, obviously, is clearly a really big thing. So these categories start to emerge. And just make a note of these categories. When you've got these categories, this is what's going to form your master plan now, your master plan for life, that you only need to look at once a week to plan your week. Because you're going to pick a day that you plan every day, and it's going to become a non-negotiable for you. It's going to become a new normal. It's just like brushing your teeth. Sunday morning for me, no matter where I am in the world, no matter what's going on, I get 2-3 hours on a Sunday morning, and that is my sacred planning time. And what I'm looking at in that time and what I'm working from in that time is my master plan. There's no point, this is where people go wrong, there's no point in planning 2 or 3 hours to plan, but not knowing what you're planning. Because you'll just sit there going, oh, how many of you have done this? Give me some hearts if you've done this. Opened your diary on a Sunday and gone, right, I've got a plan now. What do I plan? How many of you have done that? And then you think, oh, how's this planning going to help me? Then you start getting frustrated with yourself. But if you know exactly what you need to plan that week to have your best life and reach your goals, then it's easy. And this is what the power of this master plan. So, this master plan is going to go in the back of your diary, and I'm going to show you mine. This is my new diary, and I've just done a new master plan, because the master plan will change all of the time, because your priorities will change, your goals will change, the things that you're working on will change. So I do this exercise twice a year. I do it at the very, very beginning or end of December, early January, and then I do it around now, after the summer's out, for the last half of the year, to see where I want a big push. And I've just done this exercise now. So this is my diary, this is how I like to work. Paper diaries work for me. I need a day per page view, so I can see my whole day. Like little lines don't work for me, like a whole week on one page doesn't work for me, it's not enough room. In the back of this diary, you will see, is my master plan. So it's already written out in the back, in my categories. Because then on a Sunday, I flip to the back of my diary and I know exactly what I need to plan. I know exactly what needs to go in. I'm going to give you some ideas on what might be on your master plan, just so you've got an idea for you. So one of my key areas is fitness and lifestyle, fitness and health. So what I've got on my master plan under fitness and health is just, it sounds really military, but regular food shop, bi-weekly. Because if I don't go bi-weekly, then I don't have like fruit, veg, salad that's fresh in the house, which means I won't eat well, and that gets to me. So that goes on my health goals. 20 to 30 minutes of exercise per day. And then I've put next to that swim, run, walk. It doesn't matter what it is as long as, and that's just been made easier with the Fitbit. And when I did this, I didn't have that actually. So you can see that the things that I'm having to consider. But the other thing that goes under there for me around image is nails. Make sure my nails are done. Because it affects me, you know, when I look down, it does affect the way I feel about me. And I'm sure it does for you too, and your hair and anything else that's really, really important to you. Because they all affect your productivity. Planning and productivity is very clearly linked, but also the way you feel is really linked to productivity. So there's things that piss you off that we need a solution for. That's why we did the pissed off plan first. So you know what those things are, so that you can be really productive in the time that you're working and not feel pissed off, because that will hinder your productivity. So we've got in here like hair, nails, eyebrows. There's a few things for me that are just non-negotiables. My hair, my nails, my eyebrows and my lashes. That's it. I don't really wear that much makeup, like I haven't put any makeup on for the last good few days. So I'm not like really overly bothered about that, like having to make time to do that every morning. But there are some things that I do that make me feel better, and they're on that plan. So work out what the things are for you. And then under business, think about your business. That can't give you the answers to this stuff, obviously, because everyone's business is different. But it's what I would do before you write anything in the back of your diary is maybe just do it on a rough piece of paper, like the things you need to consider on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. It doesn't matter whether they're daily, weekly or monthly, it just that they need to be considered as an action for you in your business that keeps you moving forward. And just get it all on a list. So if you have to do certain things on social media every day, then be really specific on the particular actions that you need to do to move your business forward, and that goes under your business category. So now what you've got is you've got all these categories that you need to thrive in to feel successful, and then you've got a list of actions underneath them on bits of paper, on a notebook, not in your diary yet. Now what we want to do is we want to prioritise that, because you're going to look at that and you're going to think, that's a lot of stuff there, but there actually isn't, because we're going to use the rocks, pebbles and sand method, and this is just brilliant in planning effectively and fitting everything into your life. So how do we do rocks, pebbles and sand? Well, on Sunday, when you decide this is my planning time and these are the hours that I'm going to plan next week. So for me, because I plan every area of my life, then my diary from morning till night is accounted for. You know, if I've got a gap in there, it means that it's my chill time and there's just no agenda for that time. So first thing you want to do is get specific about the hours that you need to put into your diary, like what hours are business hours, blah, blah, blah. So you've got this diary now in front of you with the hours laid out, and you've now got these lists of things that you need to do that need to fit into that diary. And that's what's going to happen on a Sunday. What we want to do is we want to organise that list so that it goes into that diary in the right order, so that it goes in order of priority, and so that you work on the things first that are going to have the biggest impact for you and your business. So rocks, pebbles and sand is just business. We're only talking about business. And here's what it is. So let's say I give you this, right, and it's empty. I give you this, it's empty, and I give you a pile of rocks, pile of pebbles and a pile of sand. And you've got to fit all of the rocks, pebbles and sand into here and close the lid perfectly and make it fit. And the rocks, pebbles and sand represent all the things that are on your master plan, all the activities that you have to consider. Now, if you were to pour the sand in first, and let's say the sand came to up here where the juice does, and then you added the rocks on top, or put the pebbles on top, and then tried to squeeze the rocks in and shut it, probably wouldn't close. If you poured the rocks in first, poured the pebbles in around the rocks, and then poured the sand in to fit around all the little crevices, it would fit perfectly. And that's how we plan your week in order of priority. Rocks, pebbles, sand. Rocks is the important stuff. It's the thing that has to go in first, that the other things can be put around. The sand is the stuff that can be moved around and it can be flexible, and it can, you know, it's the last priority. It's the nice to do thing. So let's think about some examples for this. So you've got your business list and you're going to look at it and say, what's a rock? What absolutely has to happen, and it has to happen on time. So if you have meetings, so like my client meetings every week, they have to happen on time. So that would have an R next to it as a rock. It'd be one of the first things that goes in my diary, because it's one of the things that absolutely cannot be missed. If sales calls to get new clients, so you might be in a business where you do calls with people for new clients, sales calls, discovery calls, they would go in my diary as a rock, because if you're not selling, then your business isn't growing. Social media is probably going to play a huge part. Updating your social media, being visible, I would say that's a rock if you're running an online business. So you'd put rock next to that. But then there are some other things that maybe aren't so much, like things that you need to do but aren't time sensitive. You might want to get new pictures for your branding because you don't like your old ones. It's probably sand. Could be a pebble, depending on how much you don't like your old ones. You might want to organise your paperwork. That's sand. Pebbles might be less important things that can fit around the rocks that aren't time sensitive. But when you write your master list in the back of your diary, your business, you want to do it in order of rocks, pebbles and sand, so that when it's going in your diary, if you get to the end of the week and everything's full and you're like, I haven't got time to do that, then it doesn't matter, it's no big deal, because that sand can be moved to the week after, because it's not time sensitive, it's not going to have the biggest impact on your progress, the biggest impact on your profit, so it's okay. So everything goes into the diary in order of rocks, pebbles, sand. And what you'll find is that everything fits. Everything fits. Yeah, you have a lot of order to your life, you have a lot of structure to your life. If you're somebody that doesn't like order and structure, you're going to resist this process. But I promise you, having worked with this now for probably 5 years and seen my business do this, but more than that, seeing my happiness do that, I feel more fulfilled in every area. I have time for every area of my life. The time was always there, I just wasn't using it properly, and that's the difference. We've all got the same 24 hours in the day. We just need to be really, really smart with it, because it's the one thing we can't get back. It's the one thing that once spent is gone forever. So we need to be really, really careful with how we're spending it. Now, in terms of productivity, when you've got these things in your diary and you open your diary first thing Monday morning and it's your brand new week of the first week that you've planned like this, in this way, you open your diary and you've got a list of things to do, and now you need to stay productive. You need to get through that list in that time frame, or else it all starts going a little bit wrong. So how do we stay productive? Number one, environment is everything. The environment that you work in is going to have a massive impact on productivity. Google recognised this quite recently when they invited all of their employees to decorate their office. It's not really office, it's like those those fake walls where everybody's in one room. I'm not quite sure what you call them. One of those. Everyone got the opportunity to decorate it, bring in pictures and anything that made them feel good, flowers. And I would say really look at the space that you're going to be spending your business hours in and ask yourself, does it light me up? Does it make me feel good? And just, you don't have to transform it, but it's just about little things. Like, I have incense burning in my office. It has an incredible impact on the way I feel. I have like the pictures in there that are up make me feel good. The chair that I sit in makes me feel good. The stationery that I use makes me feel really, really good. And it's clean and it's tidy and it's clutter-free. All those things make a huge difference on productivity levels. The other thing that makes a really big difference is just the way you feel in general, not just about your environment, but the way you feel in general. And what you should find is doing this plan, the way you're doing it, reduces the guilt, because you're eliminating all of the problems that you started with. You found solutions for them and the solutions are planned. You no longer feel like you're failing in every area. Therefore, the time that you are working, you feel happier in that time. You're not carrying that guilt with you that you're a shit wife, shit mum and all the rest of the things. But we do have to be disciplined in that, or else the guilt creeps back in. So the next productivity hack I want to share with you is discipline. If you run over and you don't stick to this, so if you, in the hours where it says get dressed up and go for date night with the husband, if you're still working in your business and you're an hour late so you don't get time to make yourself feel sexy and do your hair and your makeup in a nice way and put that dress on, and you end up going out just looking how you look, then you've really not been disciplined in one area of your life, which is your relationship, which means you're going to experience guilt now in that area. And you're probably going to experience it in the time that you're working, and then you're going to beat yourself up. So you're not going to feel 100% fulfilled. If you've committed to, and now with the children when they get back from school to do their homework and be totally present, and you've got a training playing in the background that you're half listening to, it's not having the same effect. So it's about giving yourself 100% to everything, because when we give ourselves 100% to everything, you'll be amazed at what you can achieve. Amazed. It sounds spiritual, it sounds cliche, but presence really is a gift. The clue's in the word, presence. It's a gift. We can't get stressed, overwhelmed, worried, scared, frightened. We can't experience any negative emotion when we're present, because anything that exists that's less than high vibe is either dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. Those things don't exist right now in this moment. Me looking at you right now and saying, I'm here, I'm with you. What time is it? It's now. Where am I? I'm here. And that's all that I'm focusing on right now. And there is no room in my mind to be focusing on anything else than what's happening right now. And in this moment, everything is perfect. Everything is just as it is. And I'm super grateful. I'm really enjoying myself talking to you guys. The only time I could worry is if I started going too far into the future and thinking, oh, I've got to pay that 6-figure tax bill that's just come in, or, oh, that bitch yesterday, what she said about me. That's the only time it can come in. The only time is if we start going forward or backwards. If we're just here, just now, then we're much happier, we're much more fulfilled, which means we're much more productive. Yes, it's an art. I'm not the Dalai Lama. I'm guessing neither are you. So I'm not present all of the time. I'm not going to pretend I am, but I do try. I do really make a conscious effort to be mindful of where my thoughts are going and recognise that and bring it back to the present moment. Question I always ask my clients: when was the last time, if you drink tea or coffee, when was the last time you can actually remember standing and stirring your tea or stirring your coffee? When was the last time you can actually physically remember being totally present to do that? When was the last time you remember brushing your teeth and actually seeing yourself do that and feeling those feelings and being there and only there? Most people will say, I can't remember the last time. It just gives you an indication on how present you're living your life. That will have a massive impact on your productivity. When you give yourself 100% to tasks, more creative, more in flow, more motivated. And that's important in terms of productivity. Last hack when it comes to productivity is power hours. They're amazing. Power hours are powerful. That's why I call them power hours. You can get so much done in 1 hour when it's just focused one thing for 1 hour, and we set an alarm. So this is an hour where you give yourself to something with no distractions. You commit to yourself at the beginning of the hour: I will not be checking my Facebook notifications. I will not be loading the dishwasher if you work from home because there's distractions everywhere. I will not engage in conversation with my husband or whatever it might be that normally distracts you. Like, James and I share an office, and we buzz from each other like we do. We talk a lot, we have a lot of banter, we laugh, but sometimes I have to rein it in and go 1 hour, and I set an alarm, and until that alarm goes off, James, please don't talk to me, and I won't talk to you, but we're going to do this. And we're like, okay, 1 hour, go. We can't check notifications, it's just zoning in on that one thing. You'd be amazed how much you can get done in an hour. Where we get unproductive is where we start jumping from one thing to the other, like, oh yeah, I'll do that, I've started that, oh look, such and such has sent me an email, oh, I've got a notification, oh, someone's messaged me. Honestly, like, these apps and programs are designed to keep us in them. They are. That's why they're ping, 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 ping. But we have to be stronger than that. We have to resist the urge to be ruled by other things. Either you run them or they run you, and it's as simple as that. You know when you're checking your email because it's in your diary. You know when you're responding to messages because it's in the diary. And if it's not that time, then it's not coming in. And if you're in a power hour and you're focusing on something else, then that's what we're doing. You have time allocated to update Facebook, catch up with friends. It's all in the diary now. So there's no excuse for being pulled from pillar to post and then getting to the end of the day and going, well, how the hell did I not achieve anything today? Because now you can have a master plan, and this will turn you into a productivity ninja, I promise. I hope that's been helpful, guys. I've loved sharing it with you. And if I can save anybody from being sat on the kitchen floor like I was 5 years ago on New Year's Eve, sobbing my heart out, wondering how the hell can I work any harder, then it's been a job well done. If you enjoy this group, guys, and you find it valuable and you feel that you want to express that gratitude, I would love you to invite some friends that you know would get value to, that maybe are in business, to the group, so that they can get the value from these trainings too. Thanks, guys. Lots of love.